This channel strip blew my mind, and it has been on every mix since the day they showed up. Let's check it out. Now, truth be told, I'm not much of a channel strip guy. I've never owned a full-on channel strip myself, and it's just something that I was never really that interested in. Most channel strips have limitations. Limitations that can be overcome by buying everything in separate pieces, the preamp, the EQ, and the compressor. And for this reason, I've not been much of a channel strip guy. So when Rupert Neve Designs asked me if I wanted to test out their new Newton channel strip before it came out, I was like, yeah, I like testing stuff before it's out. One of the best perks of this channel is getting hands-on with stuff before anyone else, and that's fun to me. But to be honest, I didn't really expect that much from it. I was sure it would sound good. I mean, everything they do sounds good, but I didn't expect it to be as special as I actually think it is. Then fast forward to me spending some time with it, and it has beat out my existing vocal chain on the last several songs that I've actually mixed. Full on beat it, like beat my EQ and my compressor on the last several songs, and I was not expecting this. So let's just jump right into some sound examples, and then I'll go over some stuff along the way. So for those of you that saw my last video going over AI in the music industry, my good friend Sean Tubbs was playing guitar through a pedal that was designed by ChatGPT. I think it's a really good video, go check it out. But we recorded all of Sean Tubbs' guitars through the Rupert Neve Newton channel. So here is some guitar through the Rupert Neve Newton channel. Now, immediately after Sean Tubbs was done, we had Andrew Masters in to play drums through these channel strips. This all happened at Sweetwater at Gearfest in their beautiful Studio A. So here is some drums through the Rupert Neve channel strips. Now, keep in mind there's no bottom snare mic and there's no tom mics because we only had a limited number of them, but you could get an idea. And I'll put a link down below so you can download these guitar tracks and these drum tracks so that way you can check them out for yourself. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I was really impressed with that. But what really shocked me was in mixing. Okay, so let's take a listen to what this channel strip sounds like. This is the lead vocal on a song I finished mixing for Clayton Shea called Losing It. The song will be out July 28th. I'll put a link down below in the description if you want to go check it out. Go check all his stuff out. But here is the chorus of this song.
But now I'm losing it, going out of my mind. The screws keep loosening, trying to keep it together. There ain't no use in it. And now I'm climbing the walls, 'cause I had it all and I ruined it. Now I'm losing it.
Okay, now, couple things to note. The output of this channel strip was actually clipping, but thanks to the -6 output on the back of it, the converter was not clipping. So what that means is I'm driving everything hard. I'm getting lots of color from the texture. I'm getting color from the preamp. Everything is getting driven hard, so that way there's lots of color and saturation built into it. So let's go over the controls real quick, and then I will break it down, solo the vocal, and let you hear the range of controls, and we'll check it on some other things as well. Input gain, just exactly as you would expect. It is at 0 now because we're mixing. We've got phantom power here. We've got polarity here. We have got the trim here. So this is kind of neat because you can get color from the preamp, more color, and then just turn the trim down so it's the correct volume. Or you can make it real clean and then turn the trim up so that way you still get the appropriate volume. High pass control. Now this is one of the secrets to this preamp, and it's one of the things that to me makes it so incredibly usable. So you can turn it on and off here, starts at 20 hertz and goes up from there. Amazing. Then you get to your EQ, button to turn it on and off. Your low frequency is selectable between 150 hertz or 60 hertz, and it is a low shelf. Now these two in tandem is what makes this channel strip so incredibly useful on its own, in my opinion, because I'm just ripping on 150 hertz on this vocal, which is kind of insane for a vocal, but in tandem with this high pass filter sounds so good, and we'll go over that in a second. Mid-range, so it's a sweepable mid-range, starts at 220 hertz, goes up to 7K, which is an enormous range for a mid-range. It's a little on the narrow side, but definitely not a notch. It's narrow enough to fix some problems if you needed to do so, but wide enough to sound good for exactly what I'm using it on. High shelf, switchable between 8K and 16K. We've got it on 16K right now. Then you get to your compressor button to engage the compressor. You've got a threshold, a release, and a makeup gain, and a button to put the compressor pre-EQ. Now, I usually like my compression post-EQ, but I love that there's a button on there to do that if that's what you would like. Now, this compressor has a set attack time of 20 milliseconds, which is perfectly in the sweet spot for me. I usually use around 20 to 25 milliseconds on vocals for attack time. I'm usually between 15 and 20 milliseconds on mixed bus. It's just unbelievably versatile, and they tell me that the compressor is somewhat program dependent, so the knee will change and maybe the ratio, I'm not quite sure, but whatever is under the hood of this compressor, I can't believe that a 3-knob compressor sounds this good on everything I put it on. Then you move over to the Silk. Now this is, again, where the secret sauce of this channel strip lies, because Silk is a transformer-based saturation. And you have a couple colors. You've got blue, you've got red, and then you've got off and the amount of texture that you would like. Red is more sizzly, more upper frequencies, makes everything sound a little bit more aggressive. Blue is more in the low frequencies of saturation, so it makes everything sound thicker. Meters over here, you've got your regular output and your gain reduction for your compressor. Okay, so let's just solo this vocal, and let me play around with some of these controls so you can really kind of hear what they sound like.
But now I'm losing it, going out of my mind. The screws keep loosening, trying to keep it together. There ain't no use in it. And now I'm climbing the walls, cause I had it all and I ruined it. Now I'm losing it. But now I'm losing it, going out of my mind. The screws keep loosening, trying to keep it together. There ain't no use in it. And now I'm climbing the walls, cause I had it all and I ruined it. Now I'm losing it. But now I'm losing it, going out of my mind. The screws keep loosening, trying to keep it together. There ain't no use in it. And now I'm climbing the walls, cause I had it all and I ruined it. Now I'm losing it. But now I'm losing it, going out of my mind. The screws keep loosening, trying to keep it together. There ain't no use in it. And now I'm climbing the walls, cause I had it all and I ruined it. Now I'm losing it. But now I'm losing it, going out of my mind. The screws keep loosening, trying to keep it together. There ain't no use in it. And now I'm climbing the walls, cause I had it all and I ruined it. Now I'm losing it. But now I'm losing it, going out of my mind. The screws keep loosening, trying to keep it together. There ain't no use in it. And now I'm climbing the walls, cause I had it all and I ruined it. Now I'm losing it. But now I'm losing it, going out of my mind. The screws keep loosening, trying to keep it together. There ain't no use in it. And now I'm climbing the walls, cause I had it all and I ruined it. Now I'm losing it.
All right, let me put this vocal back in the mix because you can really hear the difference in texture when it's in the mix. Here we go.
But now I'm losing it, going out of my mind. The screws keep loosening, trying to keep it together. There ain't no use in it. And now I'm climbing the walls, cause I had it all and I ruined it.
to me, that's the sauce. That silk is the sauce. I wish I could have red and blue at the same time, but that's unreal. Okay, so let's check this on acoustic guitar. Here we go. Now there's oftentimes some muddiness around 200 hertz, so we're going to use this midband to clean that up. And we're going to use the low band to bring the warmth back. Sounds great. Bring a compressor in. Let's bring silk in. I like blue on this one. So here's the acoustic guitar without any of that. And here's with it. Okay, now I know we already tracked drums through this, but let's check the drums in mixing because it's pretty awesome. So here's what the drums sound like raw. This is no EQ, just raw drum tracks. And let's start with snare drum. So we're gonna put the insert on directly on the snare top track, and let's just dial it in. I'm going for a super thick snare drum. Now, even though that output meter is clipping, we are not clipping the converters because we're using the -6 output. Compressor in. Cool. Let's go silk. That sounds incredible. So I'm going to take this insert off and then put it back on. So here is the regular snare drum, totally dry. Now the crazy thing is that the peak level of that snare drum is actually quieter post Rupert Neve Design's Newton channel. So that means that all the compression and the saturation and the EQ, all that huge jump in volume and impact that you're hearing, the snare drum is actually quieter with this running. So let's listen to that one more time because that's crazy. Here we go. That's an insane difference, and a lot of that is because of the compression and the saturation that's making those peak levels quieter while bringing up all of the body of that snare drum. That's crazy. Okay, let's just insert that exact same signal chain over on kick drum. Here we go. Woo! A little too sizzly there. Go to blue silk. You can really hear those low frequencies getting saturated, but I actually still like red for this particular instance. Wow. Okay, so let's do the same thing. Let's take this off of the kick drum. And back on. That sounds amazing to me. Now, even though I said in the beginning of this video I'm not really a channel strip guy, I think that this particular channel strip, this Newton channel strip, changes that, because I don't feel held back by it at all. And that's the reason why I've never been a channel strip guy, is I've always felt held back. Most of them don't have high pass filters, the EQ wasn't powerful enough, the compressor wasn't good enough, but I don't feel that way with this one at all. Now, a couple things to note about this. First, all the pots are detented, which means they're like the notchy feeling ones, which makes recall so much easier when actually mixing in a professional environment. The -6 output is really the special sauce with this, because you really get to drive things as hard as you want, get the maximum amount of color, and that's beautiful. Like without the -6 output, I'm not sure that this would be as cool or as special, as saucy of a unit as it actually is. So what are the downsides? Let's talk about the downsides. The biggest one to me is that I can't use red and blue silk at the same time. I wish I could have both at the exact same time. The only other negative, and this is not really a negative, is that the mid band on the EQ is pretty narrow. It's not super narrow, it's not a notch, but it is kind of narrow, so when you really boost it and you sweep it around, like you can really hear it. Having, you know, a Q on the mid-range, or having it a tiny bit wider, the tiniest bit wider, might have been cool for if you're really ripping on it, but for boosts and cuts under, I don't know, 6 dB, I think it is perfectly fine. And if you're really ripping on something, you probably are okay with a narrower band anyway. The quantity of gear that shows up here for me to review and for people hoping that I'll do a video on it is kind of insane. And most of it gets shipped back, because I just won't do a video on a piece of gear that I don't love. There's just no point in it. It doesn't do me any good. It doesn't do the company any good for me to create a video around a piece of gear that I'm not just totally blown away by. And this is definitely one that I'm totally blown away by. It is so awesome to be able to track a vocal. Like, I tracked a scratch vocal with it the other day, and it was so awesome to just rip some EQ into it, throw some compression on it, and it sounds incredible just right in. Now, it's just a scratch vocal, but the idea that I didn't have to track the scratch vocal and then throw some EQ and then throw some compression on it after the fact just to get it palatable sounding while we're producing the song. Like, it's just all right there. It's super fast. Doing this stuff with real knobs is way faster than doing it with plugins anyway. I'm keeping these. They're going to stay in my studio. They're not getting these back. That is the highest of compliments, because I have a decent amount of outboard gear, but these are special. Especially for the price point. Oh, we didn't get to that yet. They're $2,000. Having a channel strip like this for tracking or mixing for $2,000, like, I know that's not a small amount of money, but that is a crazy amount of sonic incredibleness. Is that even a word? For $2,000. Like, I'm shocked that it does all the stuff that it does, and it sounds the way that it does for $2,000. Now this video is already way too long, so I didn't include it in this video, but I think a couple other uses that would have been awesome would be like bus duties if you had a pair of them. I think it'd be awesome on drum bus. I think it'd be awesome on acoustic guitar bus. I think it'd probably work pretty dang good on the mix bus because silk is so powerful. It'd be so good to get that color across your mix bus. Don't forget to hit the links in the description below to pick one of these up. If you use one of those links to not only purchase one of these, but purchase anything you ever need, it helps this channel out a lot. So I really appreciate you guys using those links to purchase one of these or anything else you need anytime you need any piece of gear. Those links go to Sweetwater, of course. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I had a lot of fun making it. I've had a lot of fun playing around with these and working on these and mixing on them. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.